Chumlee Russell first became a household name through his role on the History Channel's hit show Pawn Stars. He was the lovable, goofy character who made people laugh with his offbeat comments, quirky personality, and unexpected knowledge of pop culture items. Fans admired his charm, and over time, Chumlee became one of the most recognized faces on the show. He was more than just comic relief, he became the soul of the series. From playing around with vintage pinball machines to giving his opinion on old video games, Chumlee added life to the show. But what made people love him even more was how relatable he seemed. He looked and acted like someone you might know, a guy who enjoyed life and didn't take himself too seriously. That everyday guy image helped him win over millions of fans around the world. He wasn't just famous. He felt like a friend to many viewers. His growing fame also helped boost the popularity of the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, turning it into a major tourist attraction. Over the years, Chumlee built a solid personal brand, with fans lining up to meet him, buy his merchandise, or snapped photos. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. But behind that happy, smiling TV face was a person going through real struggles. Chumlee didn't stop at being just a TV star. He took his popularity and used it to start his own businesses. One of his first major projects was opening Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard, a colorful candy shop located right on the Las Vegas Strip. The shop became popular with tourists and fans of the show. He also launched a clothing line and started selling branded merchandise, everything from t-shirts to hats. These ventures made him more than just a reality star, they turned him into a businessman. As the money rolled in, Chumlee's lifestyle began to change. He started living large. Expensive sneakers, flashy jewelry, luxury cars, and a mansion became part of his daily life. He posted pictures on social media showing off his wealth, and fans either cheered him on or began to question if fame was changing him. In interviews, Chumlee later admitted that fame had gone to his head. He said being recognized everywhere made him feel like he could do anything. He began living a double life: on one side, the funny, friendly TV star; on the other, a man sinking deeper into trouble. Despite the success of Pawn Stars, it was clear that Chumlee was struggling behind the scenes. While his fans only saw the good side, those close to him knew he was heading for a personal crisis that fame, money, and popularity couldn't fix. Fame can bring joy, but it can also be heavy. In Chumlee's case, it created a divide between how people saw him on TV and who he was in real life. While millions laughed at his jokes and watched him buy rare collectibles, his personal life was falling apart. In a 2017 interview, Chumlee said, "I was living two completely different lives." He admitted that fame made him feel untouchable, like he could do anything without facing consequences. This attitude led him down a dangerous road. He began surrounding himself with the wrong crowd, partying too much, and spending money carelessly. Social media showed a man who looked like he was on top of the world, but in reality, he was using luxury and excess to hide deeper issues. He confessed that he began turning to unhealthy habits just to cope with the pressure. The stress of always being in the spotlight, not being able to go anywhere without being recognized, and trying to maintain a public image wore him down. Chumlee couldn't even go shopping without fans asking for pictures. It became overwhelming. While Pawn Stars was becoming more polished and professional, Chumlee's real life was spiraling. He was no longer just a funny TV character, he was a man in trouble. Friends, co-workers, and even fans began to notice the change. Something wasn't right, and sadly, it wouldn't take long for the truth to come out in the most public way possible. In March 2016, everything came crashing down. Police arrived at Chumlee's Las Vegas home with a search warrant. The initial investigation was connected to allegations of sexual assault, which shocked everyone. No one expected something like this from the guy they had watched on TV for years. But what officers found during that search was even more surprising. According to news reports, including a widely shared TMZ article, police discovered a large collection of illegal items in his home. There were multiple firearms, including assault-style weapons, drugs like marijuana and meth, and drug paraphernalia scattered throughout the house. It painted a picture that was completely opposite of the Chumlee fans thought they knew. 1. Social media users summed it up by saying, This isn't the Chumlee we know from TV. The news spread fast. Fans, celebrities, and media outlets all reacted with disbelief. Within a few days, Chumlee was facing multiple serious charges. These included felony drug possession and unlawful firearm possession, offenses that carried the possibility of up to 20 years in prison. The shock wasn't just about the charges, it was about how someone so beloved could be living a life so far from the image he had built. People began to question everything. Was his TV personality fake? Was he hiding a dark side all along? Or was he just a man who made some very bad choices? When the trial began, the atmosphere inside the courtroom was tense. Journalists, fans, and even some of Chumlee's Pawn Stars co-stars were present. Chumlee walked into the courtroom with a serious expression, completely different from the cheerful image fans were used to. Cameras flashed as he sat down, his head low and eyes downcast. The prosecutor began by presenting photos of the items found in his home. Each image made the mood heavier. There were pictures of guns, bags of drugs, and other illegal objects that had been taken during the raid. The judge, jury, and everyone in the room could sense the gravity of the situation. Chumlee's attorney didn't deny that these items were found. However, the lawyer argued that there was no clear proof that Chumlee had been selling drugs or distributing them. He claimed the items were for personal use and that Chumlee was not a danger to the public. But the prosecution pushed back hard. They argued that the amount and variety of drugs, combined with the types of weapons found, showed something more serious. During one cross-examination, the defense asked a powerful question. "Are you saying Mr. Russell was running a drug operation?" The room went silent. The drama in the courtroom was real, and so were the stakes. This wasn't just about jail time. This was about a man's entire career and public image, possibly being destroyed forever. As the judge finally prepared to deliver the verdict, everyone held their breath. The room was silent. Then, as the judge announced the sentence, Chumlee visibly trembled. Moments later, he collapsed. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Security and medical staff rushed to help him as his body gave out under the weight of the moment. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Years of pressure, mistakes, fame, and fear had come crashing down all at once. His Pawn Stars, co-stars, looked on in shock. No one had expected the moment to end like this. Chumlee's fall wasn't just a collapse in court, it was a symbol of his entire journey from fame to failure. News outlets quickly picked up the story. The headline "Chumlee collapses in court after sentencing" trended on social media. Fans reacted with a mix of heartbreak, anger, and confusion. Some defended him, saying fame had changed him in ways he couldn't control. Others said he had no one to blame but himself. The final sentence included probation, counseling, and community service, with a plea deal that helped him avoid serious prison time. But the damage to his public image had already been done. The once lovable reality star now faced a long road to rebuilding trust and finding peace within himself. After the courtroom drama settled, Chumlee began to rebuild his life. He continued running his candy store and slowly returned to social media, though his presence was more careful and less flashy. He appeared in later seasons of Pawn Stars, but not as frequently. He also focused on his health, losing weight, and speaking about the importance of making better life choices. In interviews, he admitted that the experience had changed him. He realized how far he had drifted from his roots, and how fame had blinded him. Chumlee said he wanted to be a better person, not just for the public, but for himself and those closest to him. He knew he had disappointed a lot of people, but he also believed in second chances. Whether or not fans would fully forgive him was uncertain, but his efforts to improve were genuine. The story of Chumlee serves as a powerful lesson about the dangers of fame, the importance of staying grounded, and the reality that even the most cheerful faces can be hiding deep pain. It's a reminder that celebrities are human too, and that every choice, especially in the spotlight, can change a life forever. As the courtroom reached the final moments of Chumlee's case, the energy in the room became tense. The defense argued strongly that while the drugs and weapons found in Chumlee's home were real, they did not prove any intent to sell or distribute. You found no scales, no packaging materials, And no records, nothing typically associated with drug dealing, the defense said. That statement hung in the air, challenging the seriousness of the charges. But when it came to the weapons, things were different. A firearms expert took the stand and pointed out that, regardless of Chumlee's intentions or the historical value of the guns, proper licenses and secure storage were required by law. Chumlee, clearly nervous, leaned in to whisper to his lawyer, but the judge quickly warned him to stay silent unless he was testifying. Legal experts watching the trial predicted serious consequences. Former prosecutor James Wilson said, "The mix of firearms and controlled substances creates a legal situation that judges often take very seriously." Still, Chumlee's lawyer pushed for leniency, stressing that Chumlee had no previous criminal record and had been overwhelmed by the pressures of fame. As the trial neared its end, public interest grew massively. Fans followed every detail, aware that the outcome could completely change the future of a man they had watched and admired for years. On the last day of the trial, a crowd gathered outside the Las Vegas courthouse. Some held signs that read, #CHUMLEE strong, while others wore Pawn Stars merchandise to show support. Inside, the courtroom was full of tension as Judge Michael Davidson prepared to deliver the final decision. "This court has reviewed the plea agreement thoroughly," the judge began. Chumlee stood silently, his hands trembling slightly. The judge then revealed the outcome. Chumlee had pleaded guilty to 1 felony charge for weapons possession and 1 misdemeanor for drug possession. All other charges were dropped as part of the deal, though some viewers may have expected relief. The atmosphere turned heavy when the judge laid out the sentence: 3 years of probation under strict monitoring. Chumlee would also have to complete 200 hours of community service, attend regular counseling, and take drug tests. But what truly shocked everyone was the warning. If Chumlee broke even one condition of his probation, he would immediately serve a full 3-year prison sentence, with no second chances or additional hearings. As the judge's words settled, and Chumlee looked pale, he was clearly overwhelmed. Sweat appeared on his forehead, and his breathing became shallow. As the judge continued reading the terms, Chumlee suddenly collapsed, falling forward in full view of the court. A loud gasp filled the room as people rushed to his side. A paramedic shouted, "He's having a panic attack," while others cleared space. Chumlee lay on the courtroom floor, a dramatic image that would soon appear in headlines and news broadcasts worldwide. The news of Chumlee's courtroom collapse quickly spread. Photos and videos taken from inside the courthouse began circulating online. Social media exploded with hashtags like #CHUMLEE strong and #PawnStarsFamily. Fans expressed their concern and support, saying they hoped the TV star would recover and learn from his mistakes. Outside the courthouse, Pawn Stars lead Rick Harrison made a short appearance to check on his friend and longtime colleague. 3 days later, Chumlee released a short video message from his home. He appeared weak but tried to keep his sense of humor. "Apparently facing the consequences of your actions gives you anxiety attacks," he joked, followed by a nervous smile. "The doctor says I need to make better choices, and I know he's right." This video marked the beginning of a big shift in how Chumlee presented himself to the public. The goofy, carefree image was gone. In its place was a more serious, reflective man. He no longer seemed like someone just playing a character on TV. He now appeared as someone who had experienced real-life consequences. Even executives at the History Channel were reportedly open to giving Chumlee a second chance. An unnamed source said they saw his story not just as a scandal, but as an opportunity to show redemption on screen. The idea of a comeback was not immediately confirmed, but it also wasn't denied. The public was left wondering whether this courtroom meltdown was the end or the beginning of something new. In his next public appearance, Chumlee spoke more honestly than ever before. "I let fame cloud my judgment," he said. "I made mistakes that could have cost me everything. But I'm grateful for this second chance, and I promise my fans I won't waste it." These words struck a chord. Fans, fellow celebrities, and even critics began to view his story differently. A veteran reality TV producer commented, "Audiences love redemption stories. Chumlee now has one that feels real." Since then, Chumlee has focused on fulfilling all his court-mandated responsibilities. He's also taken steps to rebuild his life outside of TV. His candy store is still running, and he's working on staying healthy and avoiding past mistakes. When asked in a recent interview about returning to Pawn Stars, Chumlee replied, "Right now, my priority is getting healthy and making better decisions. Pawn Stars has been like family to me, and I hope to make them proud again." Instead of becoming just another reality TV scandal, his legal troubles seem to have opened a new door, one that might lead to growth, learning, and maybe even a return to the screen. For longtime fans, this isn't just about a TV, about watching someone fall, struggle, and hopefully rise again. Chumlee's story has become a reminder that even people who make serious mistakes deserve the chance to grow and change. And maybe, just maybe, the best version of Chumlee is yet to come.